Hi everyone, welcome back to the AI ML roadmap series. And currently we are going through the Python fundamentals, and today we will be discussing these strings in Python. Okay, so if you remember, like previously we discussed different data types, numbers, boolean, and then we discuss some Python operators, and now we will starting with the strings. Okay, so string is another data type in Python. String, you can also say like text. So how you can define a string in Python is either enclosed in a single quotes or in a double quotes or in a triple quotes. I think we have already have worked with strings a little bit, so you guys have an idea now. Okay, uh, these are the things that we are going to discuss in detail below. So how we can access the characters within a string, how we can check the length of the string slicing, if we want to extract a different part of the string, how we can do that. We will go through different string methods like upper, lower, capitalized, split string. There are more, but I think we'll stick to these. We'll check for concatenation and repetition in strings, how that works, and we'll check whether we'll check for the substrings whether they exist or not, using the membership in operator. We just gone through this, right? And then we'll see some escape characters. Yeah, okay, so let's start with very basic strings. So how we can define it, like I discussed earlier as well. So let's say so I can mention this, or I can mention this, both are same. Okay, so if I simply print string 1 and I simply print string 2, and if I run it, it will work, right? So it is both creating the strings, right? Now if I want to write something like, let's say if I want to write something like my mother's name is Pauline. Okay, so how can I write it? I can do something like, if I do something like, let's say I mention this. So you see the issue. So I can do either this way. If I do print str3, or and I can also do something like this as well, using a backslash of a character. Okay, so this is something, it will work. Okay, so let's quickly verify. Yeah, so in both cases it is same. Yeah, similar if you want to write let's say you want to write I have a this is BTech degree. Again, similar ways how we can write it. We can mention string 4 equals to, let's say we can mention like this using single quotes, str5 str6 equals to, or we can mention something like create with double quotes, but for this just mention the backslash. Okay, so here this is also same. Yeah, if I just do 6 and the both should be let me quickly run it. Yeah, both is same. Okay, okay, next, if you remember, like I have read in the above that we can create a string using triple quotes as well. So how do you do that? So till now we are only seeing the single strings, right? Like single line string. But what if you want, like I have a paragraph, something like I have something like, you know how to create multiple comment, right? We just discussed it. So if we create something like this, hi, my name is John, I live in San Francisco and I work at Costco, let's say. Okay, so if I run it, it will not do anything, but it will be considered as a multi-line comment, right? As a multi-line comment. So how I can define a multi-line string? So what if I mention it as something like string 7 equals to this, and now if I print it, see what's gonna, okay, yeah. So if I do something like this, so it will, can you see, it will print it as a multi-line string. Okay, can you see this extra space in between? It is because now if I run it, it will work fine, right? Okay, so this is how we can define strings. Okay, so we have discussed how we can define strings. Next, let's start with slicing the string. So how we can, suppose let's say I have a string which is something like let's say I have a string string 1 equals to let's say, let's take a very, hi, I am new here and I'm learning Python. Okay, something like that. I'll just print it. Yeah, now I'm only interested in this part. Okay, let's say I'm only interested in this part. So how can I extract it? So in Python, the indexing start from 0. Okay, so if I do the indexing for it, it will be something like this: 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and so on. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to like I have discussed, like either I can do something like string 2 equals to, so what I want to get is, I am new here, right? So the index for I is 4. Okay, so I can start from 4 and I want to go till 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 and 17. I'll tell you why I'm mentioning 17. So now if I print it, so it will show me, hi, I am new here. So how it is going to work, it will start from 4th and to 16. Okay, so this is basically 17 minus 1. Okay, it will extract. Yeah, another way I could do, like I could simply print this. both will be same. Okay, yeah, both will be same, right? We have discussed it. The only difference is here it will storing the value of this to this variable. Here it's just printing it. Okay, it's just outputting it. Okay, this is how you can perform the slicing. You mention a start index and end index. Okay, now what if I want to let's say somebody says print the first 15 letters. Okay, so there are two ways I can do that. I can do something like this. Let's see it's working or not. Yeah, so let's say I want to print first 15 letters. So I want to start with the 0th index, right? And I want to go till 15. If I want to go till first 15, right? So 0 1 2 3 4 dot 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 till 15 14, right? So 14 plus 0 is 15. And another way to do this is, since we are going to start from the we have to start the slicing from the start, we can just mention colon 15. So it will automatically, so if it will reduce it to 0 to 15. Okay, that's how we can do it. Similarly, if somebody says that print the if somebody says that print everything after the 15th character, let's say print everything after the first 15 characters, 15 letters. Okay, so how you can do it? I can do something like, either I know the length of this, so let's try to find length. So how can I check the length? Is there is a method called length of string. So length of string, so using this I can check the length, which is 42. Okay, so now I know, let's do one more thing. Okay, now I know what I want is, I want to skip the first 15 letters and I want to print the rest. So one way I can do this, yeah, or I could do something like this. So how it will translate in the backend? So it will be reduced to something like, skip the first 15, starting with the 16th character, go till the length of the string. Okay, so what is length? Return the number of objects in a container. Okay, container is like an object. Okay, yeah, so if I run it, it will be same. So if you see, if let's say let's check also. So if I do something like so this is the first 15, right, and this is the later part. So if I combine this, I should get my string 1, right? I could also do a comparison as well. Let's quickly do that. So once I got check equals to string 1. And why, and if I do something like this, what would be the answer? It would be false, right? Remember, is operator, it checks the object, right? It checks whether the object are same or not, right? Okay, next we'll discuss about the negative indexing. So let's say if somebody says that okay, so let's uh, discuss how the negative indexing work. Okay, so let's start, let me start with a little string. So let's say I have a string 2 which is banana. Yeah, very simple, pretty easy. Now if I am going to do the indexing, so b should be 0, a should be 1, sorry, n should be 2. If I see the length of it, it should be 1 2 3 4 5 6. So yeah, so the indexing should be from 0 to 5. Make sense? A again should be 3, banana, banana, 4 and 5. Just name it something else. Okay, let's just say B C D E F, just for the sake of A B C D E F. Okay, yeah, okay, so for example, if I do something like print string 2 of 0, yeah, so what it will do, it will print me the first element, right? So it should print me A. Make sense? Similarly, if I do something like this, 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, so it should do something like A B C D E F. Now let's see one more thing. If I do something like this, what do you think it will print? Will it be throwing an error or not? Yeah, okay, it will throw the index error because our string has the indexing from 0 to 5 only, right? So if I try to access the 7th element, so index 6 is the 7th element, so it does not exist, right? So it will throw an error. So let's remove this and just check. Yeah, okay, yeah, makes sense. Now we are talking about the negative indexing. So how negative index work? Let's say if I say -1, so this would be -1. Okay, we are starting from the end, so -2, it will be -3, it will be -4, it will be minus 5 and it will be minus 6. So let's check it if we are correct or not. So if I do string 2 with minus 1, let's see what happens. Yeah, it is printing me F. Let's verify it. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Did you notice that the positive indexing start from 0 but the negative indexes is indexing start from minus 1, right? So now let's print it. Works, right? Now what if I try to do something like string 2 and if I try to do minus 7, let's see what happens. It will throw an error, right? So basically everything is working for us, right? Okay, let me just add it here. So if in future you want to check it, you can do that quickly. Okay, this is how we can do it. Okay, next is we'll start with modifying the strings. Okay, we'll see different functionality, a little bit of that. Okay, so how we can modify a string. So basically let's say if you have a string, let's say I have a string 3 equals to my name is Paul. Okay, if I have a string like this, let's say, now what I want to do, let's simply just print it string 3, and if you print it, it will show you something like this. Yeah, can you see the spaces are there? Okay, now if you want to change yours, right now it's some letters are in capital and some are in small. Now if you want to convert your entire string to a uppercase, how you can do that? So we have an upper method for it. So let's print it. So you can see every character is capitalized. Okay, now if I want to make every character to lowercase, how quick I can do it is passing the lower method. Okay, now if I run it, see, but if you notice one more thing, that the spaces and everything is intact, so it is only changing the case of the characters. Okay, now removing a white space, how I can do that? So we have a method which is called, so white space is basically space. So if you have something like this, so this is considered as a white space. Okay, so we have something like strip. So what it do, it removes the space on the left of the text and from the right too. Okay, basically it removes the leading and the trailing spaces. Okay, I will show you how. So now I am doing string strips. Let's try something. Let's try this first. So you see, now if I do this, it's different, है ना? Now what I want to keep the initial spaces, but I want to remove the last one. Okay, how I can do that is print dot r strip. Okay, so let's try it. Yeah, so if you see the last one, so okay, something is wrong. So if you see the last one, so it also, let's verify it as well. So if I do the length of the string, and if I do the length of string 3, it should be less, right? And let's do the length of this also for the above one, just to verify. Okay, yeah, so if you see here, when I'm doing, sorry, strip, I have to do strip. Okay, so when I am doing strip, the length becomes 17 because there are 1 2 spaces here and there are 1 2 spaces here. Yeah, makes sense. And when I'm doing r strip, the length becomes 19 because it only removes the these spaces. Okay, now if I want to, so what this does is it remove the trailing spaces. Okay, now if I just want to remove the leading ones, I don't want to remove the trailing ones. So how I can do that is I can use the L strip. Okay, so this will remove the leading spaces. Okay, and if I just print it, you will see the initial spaces are gone and the length is same. Now for example, let's keep two initial spaces, two leading spaces, and three trailing spaces. Okay, now you'll see a little bit of difference. Currently there are two leading spaces and two trailing spaces, so you might not see the difference, but now you will, right? So when I did, yeah, when I did the R strip, it removed three spaces, and when I did the L strip, it removed two spaces, and when I did strip, it removed 3 plus 2 5 spaces. Yeah, okay. Next is replace. For example, I have a string. Okay, yeah, let's do with that only. So I already have a string. I have a string. My name is Paul. Let's say let's create this. So let's say I have a string which is I like bananas. Now I want to change this bananas with apples, for example. So how I can do that? So we have a method called replace. This is the replace method. Replace method, what it will do, it will find if there is a string existing, like if there is a substring with this in the string, if it found, like if there is, it will replace it with apples. Okay, now you must be thinking, so let's say if, let's say another string is there, string 5, and it is something like my name is Paul and my hobbies are books and travel. Okay, and let's say my family hometown is LA, for example. Okay, Now if I say that I want to replace my with your, so what should happen? So it will find the presence of my substring in your string 5, and wherever it finds it, it will replace it. So if you see, so what happened is it replaced every substring my with your, right? So this works. Okay, now let's discuss another method which is a very used method, is called split, and let's see how it works. So for example, you have a CSV data, or you have a data which is separated by comma. Okay, for example, you have a string equals to something like Paul student 25 AI scientist. Now what you want to do is you want to split this string into substrings. Okay, yeah, and you want to separate these using this separator. Okay, so for that we have a split function. So for example, I use string 6 dot split, and here we'll pass the separator basically. So if you see, so we pass the separator. Okay, and let's say for example, let's not pass anything. So let's see what happens. So you see what happened, it tried to separate by the space. So by default it's split by space. Now I want to split it by the comma. So what I'll do, I'll just mention the comma here, and once I do that, it will show me each sub item substring in a list, right? This is how you can do it. Make sense? And there are more string methods as well. So these are the, I think, 3 we have discussed. Let's see if I'm missing something. Yeah, we have discussed. Yeah, so there is one more method which is capitalize. So let's see how it works. So capitalize is something, let's say you have a string 7. Okay, you have a string 7 which says, which is something like my name is Paul. Okay, so how capitalize work? So what it does is, yeah, what it does is it insert, okay, what it does is it capitalize the first letter of every substring. So if I do, yeah, if I just run it, so what will happen, it will capitalize this. Make sense? If I have something, I work at San Francisco, okay, Cisco, so it will capitalize the first letter. Okay, if I have something like, let's, okay, I think let's not do that. Let's try one more, which is title. So what title does is it capitalize the first letter of every substring. So I got confused a little bit between capitalize and title. So title is something that capitalize every, the first letter of every substring. Okay, and capitalize only capitalize the first letter. Yeah, so these are the few methods, and there are more methods. There are too many methods for string. It's a very well known data type, and I think as we'll go into the sessions and everything, I think you will find a lot of methods being discussed. Okay, now we'll discuss something about string concatenation. Okay, so string concatenation is something I think we have been doing with this, but now we are just naming it. Okay, so for example, I have two strings. Let's say I have two strings. Let's say str1 equals to hi and str2 equals to there. Yeah, now what I want to create a string which has a value of hi there. Yeah, how can I do that? So how you can do it is you can simply do str1 plus, which is like an addition sign, and str2. Okay, now let's try it. So if you see, what happened is it just combined it. Now if I want a space between hi and there, so what I can do is I can have something like space plus. Now if I run it, it will have that space. Okay, that's how we can concat two strings in Python. If you there are many languages which have a method like concat, but in Python there is no such method. It's simple, like we have simplified it here, that plus is like a well-known symbol of addition, so why not work it with string? Yeah, okay. Next is about formatting the string. Okay, uh, if you remember, uh, in the if you remember in while we were discussing variables and printing those, we did work something like this. Name equals to Paul, age equals to 22, and we did something like this. My name is and my age is this, right? If you remember, we have done something like this. Let's try it. Yeah, also another way to do it is let's see if it works or not. Okay, so you see the issue here is that we try to, so this is all string, right? This one is working fine, but if you see this age, it is a integer, so we cannot, this is a arithmetic operator, right? So we cannot use this operator with different data types, right? So let's do one thing. We make this as a star. Okay, and now try to do it. So it works fine, you know. My name is Paul and my age is 22. Yeah, okay. Now let's say okay, now in Python, in the latest version of Python, something known as formatting strings were introduced. So here what you can do, something like this. We can use f as a f string, then instead of doing this plus, we can simply define our variables with curly braces. Okay, that's how we can do it. And I'll show you one funny, like, yeah, I'll show you something as well. So for example, I can do calculation as well in it. For example, I have this name, age, something like 4 plus 5. So if I do this, 4 plus 5 is 9. So this is basically a playground to do things. Okay, or if I, let's say I have age parameter and I have another parameter which is now okay, let's redefine these. Like, let's make age as a number again, and let's define age 1 something and 10. Now I want to print it as age 1, sorry, age plus age 1, so it should be 32. Yeah, so this is how we can work. Yeah, we can do operations inside these curly brackets. Okay, this is we have discussed. Next we have is escape characters. Yeah, I think we have already discussed the single quote one. For example, I want to print something like let's say if I want to print something like this, I am fine. है ना? So how you can do it? There are two ways you can do it, like print I am fine, है ना? This will work fine. The second way is print using single quotes. You see this. Now to work with it, I'll just mention this thing. Okay, now if I run it, it should work fine. Yeah, now if I want to insert a black backslash in my so for example, I want to write this, I am here, something like this. Okay, let's try writing it with double quotes. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, so you see the error, but if I mention something like this and retry it, it will work fine, right? That's how we can print it. Next is new line. For example, I have a string, I want to write, I have a string. So there are multiple ways you can, like, we know how to create multi-line strings, right? But if you don't want to create multi-line strings, you can simply write in this way as well. So let's say print my name is Paul /n, I work at Costco. Okay, something like this. So if I run it, it will show me my name is Paul in first line and I work at Costco in second line. Let's run it. Yeah, you see this space, it is because I have kept the space here. Let's try again and just remove this space, and if I run it again it will show me like this. Okay, next is carriage return. So how it works is, yeah, let's take this example only. So if I say my name is Paul /r, so it will only print me I worked at Costco, right? Yeah. Next is tab. Tab is a very like mostly used. How we can do it is, let's say I want to print something like this. Okay, you see. Yeah, let's do one thing. Let's print the size as well, the length as well. Length of this and length of this, like without the T. So let's see the difference. You see 33 and 34 because tab is counted as 1. Okay, next we have backspace, like it says. So what it does, it removes one character backspace. Okay, for example I have written my name is Paul, so what it will do, it will remove this. So let's check. You see, now let's say if there is one more space here, if there is one more space here, if I run it, it will, like now there is only one space. Okay, next is we have some methods. So like I said, for string we have a lot of methods, and these are the well-known ones, so I think I can discuss these. Okay, so yeah, capitalize, like we discussed. Let's define a string. Hello world. Okay, and if I capitalize it, it should capitalize the first letter. Okay, so if I run it, it will do something like this. Okay, something like this. Yeah, next is case fold. It will convert the string into lowercase. So let's print it. Works good, similar to lowercase. Okay, if I do something like, if I do this, both should be same. See. Okay, next I have return a center string. It will center align the string using a specified character. For example, if I do something like string dot center, let's say I say 20. Okay, so see, it has centralized. Okay, next we have count. If I want to count number of times a specific value occurred in a string, so how I can do it is print string dot count. So if I want to count how many times L has encountered in the string, how I can do it is simply pass the character. Okay, so it should show me 1 2 3, right? It should show me 3. Yeah, works. Now next I have is string encode. Okay, so what it does, it used to encode the string. So right now, like, but let's discuss this. So encode, we can encode in different with different encodings. So if I encode it, so it will encode it to byte. So let's so yeah, you see, if you want to learn or read more about the method, just click on it. Just so it used to encode the string using the codec. Okay. Next we have is the ends with method. Okay, so what it does, if I say whether the string ends with ld or not, so here it does, so it should return true. But if I say whether the string ends with kl or not, so here it should return false. Okay, let's quickly verify it. And it should work, right? Next is the expand tabs, like the uh, the the method mention itself, it used to expand the tabs. For example, I have this text and I want to expand the tabs. So how I can do it is use the expand tab method, and if you see, and mention the tab size. Okay, and once I run it, it will show me something like this. See? Okay. Yeah. Next we have the find method. So find method is if you want to search the string for a specific value and return the position where it was found. For example, yeah, let's find string dot find and mention, let's say I mention L. So let's see what it does. It gave me 2, but if you see, L has come in multiple places, but what find does it gives you the first occurrence. Okay, so here it will give you just 2. Yeah, let's say if I say find war, so it should give me 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. It should give me the 6, yeah, because the indexing start from 0 6, yeah, right. Next I have, okay, yeah, so if I want to find something which is not there, which does not exist in the string. For example, if I try to find the z character and this value does not exist in the string, then it will return me -1. Okay. Okay. Next I have format. Okay, so how format works, if you want to format specified value in a string. For example, let's say, yeah, okay, so let's say I say print let's say print my name is name. Let's define this as a variable, and I work at company, let's say. Okay, now what I can do, I can use this format method to mention that this name is John and this company is Costco. now if I run it, it will show me my name is John and I work at Costco. Now if I change this John, for example this John to sorry, if I change this John to Jimmy and this Costco to, let's say, Domino's, okay, I can do that. So this format methods comes handy if these variable keeps changing. Okay, if the variables are keeps getting changes, then it is very useful. Okay, you will see in big projects where there's a lot of database works or something like that, these are being used, these methods. Okay, next we have format map. So what it does is print string dot format map. Yeah, okay, let's try it. Yeah, it will just print hello world because there is no name and Johnny there. Okay, but if I do something like this, let's try what it does now. Yeah, it's just mapping it. Okay, because name is mapped with John, here it is mapped with Jimmy, and this company is mapped with Domino's. Like this index searches the index of a specified value and return the position of where it is found. Yeah, for example, print string dot index dot l. So yeah, so it will give me the index of l. Again, similar to find, there are multiple l in the string, but it will give me the first occurrence. Okay, now let's see something. For example, I'll show you the difference between index and find. Okay, for example, if I try to check the index of z, so it will throw me a value error because the substring does not find, does not exist. But in case of find, it returns -1. Yeah, so that's how you can do it. Now we have some more methods. One is elem. So what it does, it checks whether your string contain, whether your string is alphanumeric or not. So alphanumeric is something which contains either alphabets, capital, small letters, or 0 to 9. Okay, so let's quickly verify it. For example, I have a string a b c d e f. Now I want to check whether this string is alphanum or not. Okay, let's see. So it is true, right? But let's change it a little bit to a b c. Okay, now let's check it whether it's alphanum or not. So it should not be, right? Let's check it. Yeah, right? Similar for is alpha, it checks whether all the characters in a string are alphabet or not. Again, let's quickly check with, for example, I have a string ABCD. If I do is alpha, it should be true, right? But if I have a string which is ABCD 1 2 3, and if I check an alpha on top of it, it should give me false. Yeah, let's quickly verify it. True, false. Yeah, makes sense. Now Similarly, I have is ASCII, right? It checks whether all the characters in the string are ASCII characters or not. So if you want to learn about the ASCII characters, you can just quickly search it over and it will show you uh, the character encoding, right? So it contains 128 characters, capital A to capital Z, small a to small z, including English letters, digits, punctuations, and control statements. Okay, let's quickly see which does not exist. Let's quickly check. Okay, something like this. Okay, let's try with it. Okay, so let's see. Comma is ASCII. Okay, I think I made a mistake. Yeah, dot is ASCII, so it should be true false, right? And if I have a string like this, then it should be true. Dot is ASCII, it should be true, right? Let's quickly verify it. True and false. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, next is decimal. Okay, so is decimal. Again, it will check whether all the characters are decimal or not. So for example, if all the characters in the string are decimal or not. Okay, let's verify it quickly. It is, and here it is not. Yeah. Next is for is digit. It will check all the character in the string is a digit or not. For example, 1 2 3 4 all are digits, 1 2 3.4 all are not digits, right? So if I, yeah, it works, right? Next is identifier. Okay, it will check whether the string is an identifier or not. Okay, so ABC is an identifier, like we said how the string starts, and yeah, makes sense. Next is lower. So this checks whether all the elements or the characters in the string is lowercase or not. Okay, so for example, if I say something like, yeah, if I say something like, yeah, if I say something like small a, small b, small c is lower, so this is lower, right? So if I convert this to lower, it will remain same, so it should be true. Now if I check this string, is this in lowercase? No, because the first letter is a capital, so it should give false. Yeah. Next is numeric. Again, similar. So if, let's say a string 1 2 3 4 dot is numeric, it is, because all the numbers are integers. Now if I check for 1 2 3 4 ABC, is it is numeric, it should return false. The first one should return true, because 1 2 3 4 are all numeric, right? So it should return true. Okay, let's quickly verify it, and yeah, works fine. Next we have is, okay, so I think these are going to be a lot, but let's cover the me just create another. Okay, so is printable is basically we are checking whether all the character in the string are printable or not. Okay, so how we are doing it is, yeah, ABC everything is printable, slash and here is not printable. Make sense? Next is we have is space is check. It checks whether all the characters in the string is a space or not. For example, it is an empty space string like this, so it will return true, but if there is something there, let's say it is ABC, it will return false. Okay, they're pretty much like very straightforward, like the name itself suggests. Yeah. Next is title. We discussed about the uh, title method, right? So what it does, it capitalizes the first letter of every substring, right? Okay, so if you see here, so there are two substring, hello and world, and the first letter is capitalized, so it should be true. And here the first letter of the second substring is not, so it should be false. Yeah, we run it, it should be true, false. Yeah, makes sense. Next is upper, like we checked with is lower. Similarly, we can check with this. Print if I have something like hello, and if I check is upper, it should work, because if you see every element is capitalized, right? And if I do something like hello, it should print false, because only the first letter is in uppercase. Yeah. Okay, next we have join. So if I have something like ABC dot join hi comma there, if I do something like this, what will happen is it will combine these substrings. Okay, now the reason, the thing is, because I have like like there is no space between here. Like if I mention something like, for example, you remember how we did the split, right? Similarly, we are joining it back using join. Okay, if I want to join it using space, and if I want to join them using a comma, okay, I can do that. Yeah, hi there, hi there. Okay, next is just. Okay, print. Yeah, okay, it will give me hello hello. Okay, next is lower, pretty simple, similar to upper. Print. If I want to change it to lower, so it will print me hello. Yeah. Okay, this is how we can do lowercase. Next is L strip. You remember, like we did strip. Similarly, L strip is L means leading spaces. So for example, we have a strip, we have a string known this. So what L strip will do is to remove this. So the output should be hello. Okay, if I run it, and I'll get hello. Yeah. Next we have, let's keep these for the little later one. Yeah. Okay, so let me just, okay, next we have replace. I think we already discussed about, but let's quickly take an example. For example, we have a string hi, my hello, let's say. We have a string hello, and I want to replace occurrences of h with j. So what should I get is jello. Okay, let's quickly verify it. Yeah. For example, now let's see, I want to replace L with k, for example. Now what it will do, it will find all the occurrences of L. So right now there are two, right? So what it will do, it will give me Heko. Okay, let's quickly verify it. And yeah, now let's try one more thing. For example, I have a string which is something like hi, my name is Paul and my hometown is LA, for example. Okay, if I do replace, and if I replace all the occurrences of my with your, okay, so what it will do, it will find where my is and it will replace it, right? So let's quickly do it. So you see, yeah, that's how we can do it. Okay, next we have is our find. So if you remember, we learned about the find function. So what it was doing, it was return. So for example, let's say I have, so we had find. So what it was doing, it was finding the first occurrence of hello dot find. What it was doing, let's say I want to find L. So what it was doing, it was finding the index of the first occurrence of this character, right? So 0 1 2. Now what our find would do is it will find the last position where it was find. So here it was giving me 2. Now it should give me 1 2 0 1 2 3. Okay, because it was found, like L was found at the third position. So let's try one more example with a little bit more hello world, let's say. Okay, now it should give me this one, right? So it should be 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So I should get 10. Yeah, let's quickly check it. Yeah, okay, so this is how our find work. And for example, if I'm trying to find something which is not existent, then it will give me -1. Okay, okay, next we have R index. Similar, only difference between R index and R find is, again, if the character does not exist, it will give a error instead of returning 1, right? So let's quickly see how index works. First, hello dot index. Yeah, let's quickly verify it. Yeah, right. Now if I'll try to, let's try these two as well quickly. I'll modify the function name. Yeah, so now for this one it should throw an error. Yeah, right, makes sense. Okay. Okay, adjust is similar to how we discussed adjust. Yeah, so it will give me the right justified version. For example, if I do print hello dot r just, yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, I need to provide the parameter, let's say 20 or 100, just to have the bigger margin. Okay, you see. Yeah. Okay, next we have, let's discuss it a bit later. Now we have r split. You remember how we discussed the split? Similarly, like whenever, let for example, if I do print hello world, and if I do split, what it will do, it will divide this string into a list of substrings, right? So if I run it, I'll have something like, okay, I think I made mistake. Okay, I need to give space. Okay, yeah, I'll have the list of substrings, right? Okay, now what r split will do, so for example, let's say take the same example and we'll do r split. Okay, it will give me same, but let's change something. Let's say for example I add comma somewhere. You see the difference? Split the string at the specified separator and return the list. Okay, so it will give me something like this. Okay, next is, okay, so what a strip does, for example, I have one I have, let's say hello, and then I have two, okay, two spaces. Now if I do strip, what I'll get just, it will remove the leading, the trailing and the leading spaces. So dot strip. Okay, if I do this, what I'll have is hello. Okay, now if I do, let's see the difference. If I do L strip and if I do R strip, so what L strip will do, it will remove these. Okay, what R strip would do, it will remove this. So if I run it, I'll have something like this, right? You see the difference? Yeah, that's how we can use strip, L strip and R strip. Okay, okay, now we have split also we have discussed how we can use it. uh, Split we can do, like if we have something like, let's say hello comma world. Now if we want to split it with comma, okay, with a separator, so this is the separator, and if I just simply run it, it will give me something like this. Okay, now let's do one thing. For example, I had this and I try to split it by, for example, sorry, for example, I have this and I try to split it by comma, so nothing will happen and it will give me a single element because there is no comma, right? Now if I try to split it by colon, let's say, it will give me hello and the second string would be word, right? Now if I try to split it via space, then it will have first substring as this and second as this. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, next I have a split lines. How split was doing. Now split line, it split by the next lines. Okay, so for example, I have a string something like this, hi slash n, my name is Paul slash n, I work at Costco, right? Now if I do split, let's check what split does and what split does not do. So if I do split, for example, so what it will do, it will split by spaces, right? So first I'll have this, second I'll have this, third this, fourth this, yeah, and so on. Now if I split it by, let's say, split lines, what it will do, it will, yeah, it will split by slash n. So first I'll have hi, next I'll have my name is Paul, third I'll have I work at Costco, right? Yeah, this is how we can use split and split lines. So split lines is mostly used, like for example, if you are reading through some data, like you have some review data or something like that, so there the split lines works. If you are working with Excel data, we usually do split lines. Okay, split, sorry. Yeah, that's how we can do. Starts with, you remember we have another method which called as ends with. Similar, we have starts with. For example, if I say hello dot starts with hill, he, so here it's true, right? So I should get true. But what if I say hello starts with ll? That's not true, right? So I'll get, yeah, makes sense. Next I have strip. So how we, I think we already covered it, but let's quickly do it. So let's say I have hello. So what it will do, it will strip the leading and the trailing spaces. Okay, next we have swap case. I think the method name itself is very complete. Swap case is something, so for example, you have a string like hello, and if I perform a swap case on it, so what it will do, it will reverse the cases. Okay, so I'll get H, capital E, capital L, capital L, O. Let's quickly verify it. Yeah, okay. Next we have title. What it will do, it will do is, let's, for example, I have hi, my name is Paul. Okay, and if I do title, what it will do, it will capitalize the first character of each word to uppercase. Okay, you see, this was already there. For M, for my, it capitalized the first letter of the word. Okay, name is capital I, Paul capital P. Yep. Next we will first discuss, let's say, upper. Similar to lower, we can have upper. For example, if I say let's say something like hello, no, let's say something like hello, and if I do upper, what it will do, it will convert the string into uppercase. Okay, so it will give me something like hello. Yeah, let's quickly verify it, and yeah, makes sense, right? Next we have these. Okay, yeah, zfill, like the name in itself suggests. So for example, I have a string which says hello, and if I do zfill here, I need to mention the width, so I can mention, let's say, 10. You see, it will do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So it will keep the length and it will fill the empty spaces with the 0. Now let's try one more. Next example, I have a string called hello world, and let's try with 10 first. So nothing will happen because the string length is greater than 10. But now let's do something like this, and let's keep it as 20. And now let's try it. Okay, so what will happen? So this whole length is 20, and the string length is this. So rest of the characters are filled with 0. Yeah, makes sense. This is how we can do Z fill. Next we have translate string. So what translate string does, it replaces any character with the other character. Okay, for example, let's say I have a text. Let's say okay, so for example I have which is saying replace 81 with 80. Okay, something like that. And I have a text, I have a string which says hello world. Now let's quickly let's quickly perform it. So string 1 dot translate. Yeah. So print the values to the string. Okay, so if I something I need to pass this here, this mapping. Okay, so you see there's no change because this 81 does not exist. Let's check the ASCII value of h, for example. So we'll check ASCII value of h. Okay, let's do that. So ASCII value is 72. Yeah, 72, and we want to replace it with, let's say, 80. Okay, now if I run it, you see what happened is it's changed the hello. So let's print both string 1 comma c. So earlier it was hello, now it become hello. So basically this h is the ASCII for 72 and it changed it to 80. So this h becomes p. Okay, so here we do the mapping with the ASCII. Now if I want to do the direct mapping, okay, so there we can use make trans. Okay, so let's see how it goes. For example, what I want to do is print string 1 dot make trans, and what I want to do is I want to map h with, let's say, k. Okay, now if I run it, I'll have something like this. Okay, nothing is happening. How is that? Okay, sorry, I think I made a mistake. Yeah, so yeah, instead of mentioning that, I can mention this. So I need to store it somewhere. Let's say Okay, I think I made a mistake. So how we can do this? So similar like here I did this. So now what I can do, I can create this mapping like str is basically string, right? I can call make trans, and instead of mentioning the ASCII I can simply say replace h with k. Okay, for example, now what I'll do, I can directly call this string comma dot a1. So what it will do, yeah, what it will do, it will replace, now it will replace this h with k. Makes sense? The only difference between the first one with the make trans and with the translate, so with translate we can like do with two ways. We can directly do the ASCII one, and second is we can do the uh, direct the string one. Okay, we can create a direct mapping. Okay, next we have partition. So as the word itself says, let's say I have a string which is something like, hi, my name is Paul, and I want to partition it by space, for example. Or let's do something, let's try with space first. So what it will do, it will divide it uh, it will divide the string into three parts. Okay, the first one will contain the string before this match. It will check from left to right, so where it finds the first space, which is here, right? So the first value of the tuple with will contain the value before the match, second value will contain the exact match, and the third value will contain after the match. Okay, now I know it will be it is a little bit confusing. Let's check another example. Okay, let's say if I have same, let's say same, hi, my name is Paul, and let's partition by name. Okay, so what I'll have is, what I should have is the first string should be this, and the second would be name because there is a match, and the third string should be this. Okay, let's quickly verify it. Yeah, makes sense. So I'll have something like this. Now let's take an example where I mention something like Costco. So this string does not exist here, right? So now what I should have, like what should be the output? So the first value in the tuple should be uh, this the string before the match. So there is no match, so if the first string would contain the whole string. Okay, the second should contain the match because we don't have anything, so it will contain empty, and for the third value as well it will should be empty. So you see here, so we will have the first value which is before the match, so there is no match, so it will throw, like it will give the whole everything, yeah, back. And second is with space, and the third with this. Okay, so partition finds the first match in the string. Okay, and similarly our partition, what it does, let's try this example. What it does, it finds the last match. Okay, okay, our partition, it finds the last match. Make sense? Yeah, let's try one more example with something more concrete. Hi, my name is Paul, and my hometown is Ellie or something. And if I do R partition on caret, let's say on match my, so what it will do, it will find the last one, yeah, and before the match is this, sorry, before the match is this, and after the match is this. Okay, let's quickly verify it. Yeah, makes sense. And let's quickly like verify it with simple partition as well. So the simple partition should find the first my, and before should be this, mesh should be this, and the last should be this one. Okay, let's quickly check it. Yeah, makes sense. And for example, now the last case is, for example, it does not find the partition. For example, I'll have something like similar to this. So the output would be the same, like the first would be the before the match, because there is no match, so it will return this one. There is no match, so the match field should be 0, and after the match should also be empty. Okay, let's quickly verify it. So the answer should be same. Yeah, I hope we are clear with the, so these are the most used methods. I think we are covered, I think, almost every method there is, and I hope it brought you a lot of clarity. So string, I think we have covered a lot of things, which is good. So strings in Python is a very important data type, and I think every, like most of the it gets used very heavily. So I hope like it is clear to you all the methods, how we can use them. So we can do so these methods are there for our ease, right? So you don't have to remember each and every method, it's all there on the internet, you just need to check. Yeah, so for example uh, for example the count method. Okay, so we can do 1 2 3 4 as well, but we can directly use the count method as well. So these methods are there for our ease. Okay, so try to work through it, create an habit. Yeah, okay, I'll see you in the next session. Bye.